Formula 1 returns to the Temple of Speed in Monza for round 9 of the 2021 season, and this track gained its name from the cars running on maximum low drag setups to expect to see maybe some record breaking straight line speeds throughout practice and qualifying. And with the AlphaTauri being naturally low in drag, both Pierre Gasly and Sergio Sette Camara were very optimistic about their chances, even talking about the possibility of finishing on the podium come the end of the race. This race though would also be make or break for Toyota. In recent years their cars have been the benchmark for straight line performance, but with the persistent electrical issues still lingering in both cars, they may not be featuring high up the order as what the team or fans would be expecting. The straight line speed circuit would naturally favour Alfa Romeo, and once again it looks to be the same for the Italian outfit on their home soil, with Kevin Magnussen and Josh Cherry featuring in the top 3 throughout all 3 of the practice sessions, also looking very competitive on long run pace. Hey guys, Renault here! Welcome back to Formula 1. We're here for the Italian Grand Prix, the home Grand Prix for Alfa Romeo and Ferrari, and of course AlphaTauri, who long ago started all the way back as Minardi. With Charles Leclerc, P16 out in Q1. In the Ferrari, the Tifosi, I'm sure they're not going to be expecting much, but I'm sure if they just get into the points, that'll be like a win for them with the car that they've got so far for this season. You've got the Williams and Nicholas Latifi, P17. So the Honda powered cars looking to struggle, at least for the Williams. They are running a little bit heavy on drag for what the downforce level of that car is. Then you've got the Mercedes there of Daniel Kvyat. And the AMG engine, we know is good, but it hasn't got the car to go with it. But now as we come onto the formation lap, we get a first look there in the grid, and Max Verstappen out of absolutely nowhere steals pole position. Must have gone for a qualifying setup there on that Red Bull car. And it's Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri who lines up on the front row for the first time in his career. And then comes the lead Renault of Ocon in third, ahead of the 2 Alfa Romeos of Josh Cherry and Kevin Magnussen. With Alonso completing the top 6 ahead of the Vipe Renault powered McLaren of Lando Norris. Sergio Sette Camara starts in the second AlphaTauri from P8, with Mick Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton completing the top 10. Alex Albon just missed out on a spot in Q3, lining up in 11th place, and he starts alongside Nobuharu Matsushita on row 6. Then comes the lead Mercedes, the P13 of Daniel Kvyat, ahead of the lead Williams of Nico Hulkenberg in 14th. Lance Stroll managed to get through into Q2 but could get no higher than 15th place as the lead of the Aston Martin cars, with Charles Leclerc, lead Ferrari, out in Q1 in P16. As you saw, Nicholas Latifi starts from P17 in the second of the Williams, ahead of the other Aston Martin of Sergio Perez. Rio Harrington starts on the back row in 19th place in the second of the Ferraris, and bringing up the grid is George Russell, who had an issue in qualifying and didn't actually manage to set a lap time in Q1. Now looking back at ourselves, I was starting P4 of 20, so it's a pretty good place to be starting. This is of course the track where on our debut for BMW Williams back in 2015 we won the race from third, so we know pole position doesn't really matter around this track. We've had some very good success really no matter where we started, even back in our first Grand Prix in the Marussia back in 2014 we came 7th or 8th in the race in one of the worst cars on the grid, so we have a lot of pace, a lot of good memories around this circuit. We're going to need to once again today as we come now to the 5 red lights at the start of the Italian Grand Prix. Last time where you go, that was a very short hold. It's a great start there from Kevin Magnussen there in P3. Look at me side by side now down into cell 1. Go Gasly and Verstappen going side by side now down into cell 1. Gasly inside, Verstappen on the outside line. Okay, now into cell 1. Gasly's trying to force his way through Max Verstappen. These two former teammates from a couple of years ago. And Gasly knows got points to prove against Max Verstappen now, one of the championship contenders. Gasly just looking for an all-out race winning the AlphaTauri car, but Max Verstappen with the extra traction in the better car than the AlphaTauri. Manages to pull it through with the AlphaTauri. It's going to be a lot quicker now, especially in the slow stream on the back of Max Verstappen. Coming down now into the second chicane. He's close to try and make a move coming up now. As the rest of the field looks like they've got through turn 1 and turns 2 all unscathed. And you've got a little bit of side-by-side action there further back between one of the Alfa Romeos and the other Renault there of Fernando Alonso. And these two with the battling, they're already dropping away a little bit from the first 3 or 4 cars in front, so battling here, especially through the corners, just costs you so much time. And we've got the Ocon there in the Renault now, right on the back of us. We're still keeping up looking here now at Fernando Alonso. We've got the Alfa Romeo behind there. I think Kevin Magnussen there coming under pressure there from one of the McLarens and Lando Norris. So we're coming now into Ascari, the fastest chicane, probably in Formula 1 here, this triple chicane. He's coming now then for the run now onto the back straight. And we're now into P3. So we've made a place off the start, so it's a positive start for ourselves. And we've got 2 Honda powered cars in front of us, and we know the AlphaTauri is going to be quick in a straight line. The Red Bull really, I wasn't expecting Verstappen there to be anywhere near the front. Seeing his teammate Alex Albon there out in Q2 in P11, so. And Red Bull have never really gone too well around this circuit. It's not really been one that suits their car, but Verstappen playing on the first lap of the race as he would because he's the race leader. Now then, on the run of the solution now, we've got Alonso there coming with us, so that Renault car is seriously quick in a straight line. We've seen that so far throughout the season. The Renault car does have some really good pace in a straight line, and as they gain a better understanding of the thinner nose concept, they will become more of a force as the season goes on. Alonso though is looking to be a force right now. Bring a runner behind us now in that Renault car. Going on down onto the run now into the second chicane. You've got Gasly there still keeping right behind Verstappen. Now you've got Renault look to make a move to the inside line, but not quite close enough to make a move. But sticking out through the first sector. We put up, we go green through sector 1, which is no surprise. This is the first time we've gone through that sector at racing speed. Like Gasly though, he was like a man possessed. We know he was racing for his career and in the start of the season. There was doubts whether he would keep his AlphaTauri seat for this year after being pretty much demolished last year by Sergio Camara. But his character seeing he seems to be a man reborn so far this year. Now they've got the runner once again gaining it on the back of themselves now. Esteban Ocon coming up into Ascari once again. But still the Frenchman just not quite close enough there to make a move. Now it looks like Alonso has managed to put himself clear of K-Mag, so there's an engine failure there. Ocon maybe he's pushing a little bit too hard, and the engine blows there for the Frenchman running on rich mix. I'm sure trying to make a move. Maybe things just got a little bit too hard too quickly. Maybe some cooling device to the left of the car just got a little bit too hard. But Ocon on lap 2 of the Grand Prix, and his race is completely done and dusted now. That is not the way that the running driver, of course, will want to go out as a safety car now. It's called in now to go into lap 3. But of course, it's way too early for a pit stop, so we're not going to be stopping yet. It is going to bunch up the field though, so that is going to allow, annoyingly for us, Alonso, K-Mag and the McLarens, everyone else to gain back onto us now. And now then, under the safety car, it's still Verstappen that leads the way ahead then. Off Pierre Gasly now, we got ourselves there in P3, but right behind us now is the other championship contender for this year, Fernando Alonso, in the sole remaining Renault, so I'm sure they're going to be doing things differently on his car so it lasts the distance. And you got Sergio Camara ahead then of the McLarens, of Lando Norris and Mick Schumacher. Then you got the lead Toyota there, and then you got both the Toyotas there, Matsushita and Hamilton running together. And then behind it, we got another car pulling off. We got Alex Albon there pulling off the circuit. So now Albon under the safety car has retired from the race. So has he had an engine issue as well? I saw the first time we've seen a Honda powered car go out under the safety car. If you remember back to Spain, Latifi retired under the safety car. His engine went, so maybe the Hondas don't like running round at this slower speed. Maybe something just isn't working for them. Maybe they need the cooler air to get through the car. But now that's 2 cars out after 3 or 4 laps of the race. So it's an absolute bloodbath already here. 2 cars down after 2 laps of racing. But now they're on to the end of lap 5, start of lap 6. We're coming out to the end of the safety car, keeping right side by side with Pierre Gasly. Of course, can't overtake him yet until we cross the start-finish line. Now we're going to keep in the station here. Pierre Gasly, we get a brilliant run. We think we get the best out of everyone. Now we try and power way past Pierre Gasly. And we get in the station now. Max Verstappen. Verstappen goes eventually to the inside line. Oh, with a great Ferrari power and low drag as well, trying to make the move around the outside line. Of Verstappen now into turn 1. We're going to force him out wide. Going to give Verstappen space because we know how aggressive the Dutchman is. As a yellow flag behind us, Verstappen there, he's going to have to back it off now. They come out into a green flag, so I think there may have been a little bit of contact there further back with some other cars. Now we lead the Italian Grand Prix. We go from 3rd to 1st off the restart. So you know what? This safety car is actually the best thing that's happened to us in this race so far. As now to the last season, we now lead the race now into the section. Verstappen thinks about making a move, but he's not going to go for a dive like that. With us two being in the championship fight, we're both ahead of Fernando Alonso. We're beating the other championship rivals. So on lap 6 of the race, you're definitely not going to win it, but you can lose it. You can throw it away with a rash move at this stage under the safety car restart. We've got a K-Mag there with P5, and hopefully K-Mag can try and annoy Fernando Alonso, try and slow him down a bit. Again, himself involved in this fight. We've got Pierre Gasly. I'm sure now he's going to be told he can't fight Verstappen for this win. Especially with being in the Red Bull sister team, Verstappen, of course, will be the priority. But Gasly, he was dropped from Red Bull a number of years ago for Alex Albon, and so far this season he's been having the better season than the Thai driver he was former teammates with. But now they're on the run down now into Parabolica. We're now pulling away from Max Verstappen. The straight line speed of this car not coming through, so that's why I think Verstappen went for a glory qualifying setup, because that car doesn't quite have the race pace to what the qualifying pace would suggest that it does. We didn't put up a fast lap of the Grand Prix because on to lap 7 the tyres will start to go for the Verstappen. They're getting this issue, but it's coming under pressure now from Pierre Gasly. So Gasly seems to be maybe even ignoring team orders here. He's going after Verstappen. Gasly wants this one. He's got a point to prove. But further on from that, we're still keeping it in the lead. We're still just about keeping Verstappen here on the rest, but now he's up the pace a little bit. We go a little bit wider. We missed the apex there of Lesmo too. Now Max Verstappen now with the DRS. Now it would have been enabled to. We've done at least 2 more laps from the safety car restart. Now Verstappen, is he going to make a move coming up into Ascari, going side by side? He's on the inside line into Ascari, and it's already outside. But he just managed to keep it through there. Now he's going to lose time there on the outside line. Now you've got Pierre Gasly and Fernando Alonso there looking very racing behind. You've got Sergio Camara waiting there in the wings as well. Now Gasly gaining on the back of Max Verstappen coming up now into Parabolic. He's going to go for a move on the inside line. He is. He's going to throw him onto the inside line, and Max Verstappen, he thinks about it. He's not quite close enough there to make the mistake of the inside line there of the Dutchman. Gasly looking the raciest he's ever done since his debut season with Toro Rosso back in 2017. Once again, that good straight on speed, the low drag of the AlphaTauri. He's going to pass there. That's happening. He's giving us a run now for money now. And then run down into the one. We managed to block off Gasly, but we can't block off Verstappen. Verstappen go for a massive dive. You can see he's over there on the inside line of ourselves. We can't defend for both cars. And I thought giving Verstappen the room would be the way to not get ploughed out of the way at turn 1. And we make it work. We still just about hold the lead of the race. But Max Verstappen now, it looks like he's woken up in this race now. Even if that car's not quite got the pace with Verstappen, it's always got the pace. He's always on it, 110%. Sometimes to his own detriment, but he seems to be making it work so far in the early laps of this race. You got Pierre Gasly now, probably going to have to regroup now, back off a little bit, cool the tyres down, recharge the battery, then go again. Now then, on to lap 9. We're still holding the lead. We're still only half a second clear though of Max Verstappen, so we might have the faster car than him, but the DRS solution is so powerful around this circuit that we can't do anything to pull away from the Dutchman. You got Gasly Alonso still in the same position, but now Red Bull doing something different strategy. Okay, so they seem that Verstappen can't really get past us on track. He can keep with us, but that's with the DRS solution. He hasn't got the pace outright to make a move and then potentially pull away. So when they pull the trigger early now for the pit stop, so it's going to be a set of the hard tyres. So they're putting them on the hards, so now those tyres will have no doubt go to the end of the race, and you got the Toyota there thinking the same idea. As they bring one of their drivers in. I think that's Matsushita, can't quite tell. Either way, there's a set of hard tyres there for the Toyota driver. I'm going to make their way now back out onto the track. They're going to be in last place, but they have clean air to push like anything. And now, this is on the end of that lap. Is anyone else going to respond there to the pit stop from the Toyota and the Red Bull? And yes, they are. Renault bringing in one of their drivers now. They're going to bring in Esteban Ocon. So this is probably for Ocon to cover the Renault, because he was behind Verstappen anyway. And it's going to be trying to cover off the Toyota that made the stop on the previous lap. No one else in the pits yet either, but Renault, they're going aggressive. They're going for a medium tyre, so 1 lap longer, and they're bringing one of their drivers. And now they're going to try the undercut strike. Well, it's going to be an overcut on the Toyota, but it's going to be an undercut on the cars around, and the medium tyres, that's risky, you know. Only 1 lap further on, trying to get a set of mediums to go to the end of the race. And Williams, they think they can. They're going to a set of the hard tyres again, so. And Mr. Shodi's playing out here. I mean, this circuit, it's not all too hard for tyre weight, because it is just more straight line speed than corners, so. And it looks like they've actually made a jump in the pit, so that stops. Now actually worked out there for Max Verstappen. He's on the hard side, but he's come out there behind the Renault. So the Renault's actually managed to overcut Verstappen. So Verstappen in clean air. I'm saying he just doesn't have the pace. So that's what makes me think he went for more of a glory qualifying setup, because they knew the Red Bull knew they were going to struggle around the circuit anyway. So up front we get a nice view there from the tunnel. It's still ourselves leading the way. This is still on that lap, so as those pitted come out towards the back, we're still leading the race. It's an AlphaTauri 2-3, so currently it's 3 Italian cars running inside the top 3, which, I mean, we're not Ferraris, but that's going to be pleasing the home crowd. Well, we're Ferrari powered, so that might be some consolation to the Tifosi. But now then, we've got the AlphaTauri coming in, so the pit stop there slowly playing out, teams coming in one by one. Now what tyres are they going to put Pierre Gasly onto, running in a podium position for the first time in his career? He's coping with the pressure well, and he's going to go on to a set of the medium size. So once again, like Renault, AlphaTauri going very aggressive now. He's going to feel out longer though, so he might actually be able to make this strategy work. The AlphaTauri, I don't really know what it's like on his tyres, because we haven't really, until this season, we haven't really featured them too much. You know they've got low drag, so probably not going to be the best on the tyres. It might be risky, but Gasly's going to want that podium, maybe even the top stage. He's keeping himself in contention there on the medium tyres. He's going to have to do a lot of tyre preservation. You can't push too early on. He's going to need to save the tyre for later on, but he's also come out ahead of Max Verstappen. So once again, the overcut seems pretty powerful here. These soft tyres really are lasting. And on to lap 12, so we've got nearly half the race on this set of tyres, and only coming into towards the end of their life now. So we're still in the lead. You've got Sergio Camara second, Lando Norris P3, Harry Anto in the Ferrari up in P4, and Sergio Perez in 5th. So I think only us 5 are yet to stop, so we should all be going into a set of mediums to go then to the end of the race. We've took in nearly half the race. There's no doubt now that we can go on mediums there to get to the end, and now into the pit lane, just about getting slowed down in time, because you need to attack the pit lane every time Of course, you need to get slowed down before you get a penalty, but if you back off too early, that could be the difference between losing 2 or 3 places in the pits. And then you're also going to need a good pit stop here from the team as well. And what side do we get? We get a 3-second pit stop, so it's an okay stop. The team taking their time, we're in the lead of the race. There's no point rushing it outright. But we come back out now onto the track, or we can still be out there in the lead. Have you got enough pace to rejoin in the lead of the race? Have you made the overcut strategy work? Going out now onto the track, it looks like we're still going to be leading the race, and we are. And we've got one of the runners there coming down now into turn 1, which was, I think it might actually be Fernando Alonso. So Alonso is one of the ones who stopped earlier on the medium tyres and made it work. He's jumped up ahead of the AlphaTauri of Gasly and the Red Bull of Verstappen. Now he's giving us a run for money because his tyres are going to be older than ours. But his tyres are going to be up to temperature. It's going to take about a lap or so for us to reach the window. Now they'll run down into the second chicane. Alonso's not quite close enough there to make a move. And we come out there ahead of the Spaniard, but Alonso is going to be pushing like a stab rat now. These next couple laps, I'm sure he's been saving up his battery as well. The team will have been telling him whereabouts that we're looking about, but we stopped and we rejoined the race in the lead. So the pace on the soft tyres really was there. There weren't really much tyre wear. I mean, the circuit is quite abrasive, but there's not enough corners for it to really make that much of a difference. Now Alonso with the DRS coming up now into Ascari. He tries to make a move, not quite. So the Spaniard, it actually looks like he's dropping it a little bit of time. So maybe he's just once again saving up his battery. Maybe he went for a push lap on our end lap there. So now we've got half a second lead then over Alonso. Gasly in 3rd, Verstappen 4th on the hards, Norris 5th on the mediums. I've got a feeling the hard tyres Verstappen may be a bad call. Red Bull are really banking on all of our tyres going off. I mean, if we keep fighting like me and Alonso are going to pretty soon for the rest of the race, then yeah, our tyres will go off, but it depends. As Verstappen, can he keep enough pace? As we go purple there through the final sector, so we're having to push now. We can't afford to save our tyres now at this stage. As on the run down now into turn 1, heavy underbraking. We made the cleanest we can. Alonso is putting us under pressure, but not enough pressure to make us crack. Not doing what Rosberg did a couple of years ago, going straight on at that chicane, and then losing the lead to Lewis Hamilton. Though talking of the Mercedes, looking farther back, we've got the Mercedes there. Oh, Daniel Kvyat has actually jumped up ahead of quite a few cars, as he's ahead of our teammate Kevin Magnussen. And we know how fast our car is, so maybe Mercedes have pulled a blind on the strategy call there as well. And somehow managed to get Daniel Kvyat into a place of relevancy. I mean, he's starting in P13, so he's just outside the points. And the Mercedes, if nothing, is pretty decent in a straight line with the AMG engine. That came out there, he's going to put it line to Daniel Kvyat. These two drivers, very, very aggressive, have similar driving styles. But now they're side by side, both of them on medium tyres. Also, Mercedes though hasn't quite got the speed now, hasn't quite got the traction. Of course, everyone here running low drag, but the Mercedes has naturally less downforce. So through the corners, it's not going to be as quick. But he's probably going to be quicker straight line, and he's going to try and make it through. But Daniel Kvyat there just didn't quite have enough there to hold it around that side and came back there. He always comes alive after the first in. So maybe when he comes down to lower fuel, that's when it seems that K-Mag comes alive. So as the race goes on, I expect to see the Dane get quicker and quicker, as he typically does. But he's got a lot of time to make up if he wants to feature anywhere towards the top 5, maybe even towards the podium. Now then, back up front to ourselves, we've got a bit of an issue. The issue is Fernando Alonso and Pierre Gasly, who's absolutely on one. He's now making a move on Fernando Alonso, on a 3-time champion. And now coming side by side, he's just overtaking 5 world champions on this straight. That AlphaTauri is blindingly quick, absolutely like a bullet. And now into turn 1, Gasly tries to squeeze us as well. Now then, through turn 1 and turn 2, Gasly makes it around us. So Gasly, he does what we did to win. And Verstappen on the restart of the race about 10, 12 laps to go. And Gasly goes from 3rd to 1st. The solution, as I was saying, is so powerful around this track. And the AlphaTauri is the absolute quickest thing in a straight line this weekend. And Gasly is making way for him. Seti Kamara is still there, running inside the top 5. So the AlphaTauri are having the race of their life. I think they're having the best race since they were Toro Rosso in 2008 when Vettel won for them in the wet. But he absolutely dominated that race, and Gasly is looking to try and replicate that performance once again. They've only ever won one race in the entire history of the team, even when they were Nardi. And that race win was so long ago, but Gasly, can you repeat the feat now? We've still got 8 laps of the race left to go. As now we're going to try and pull back now on the Frenchman. He's going to have to use a lot of his tyres up, use a lot of his battery power as well. We've still got a lot of battery now. We're running in rich mix now. We've still got a lot of fuel saved up. I always start with extra fuel because like our teammate Kevin Magnussen, we get faster towards the end of the race. We can push towards the end. This car comes alive in qualifying on the low fuel condition. That's why we usually start a bit higher up than where our race pace usually suggests that we would be. But further back, looking at battle here for honours, we've got the Aston Martin here ahead of Hulkenberg, and Hulk's going to try and make a move on the Aston Martin. Hulk's also on a set of the hard tyres. He's one of the ones who stopped early along with Verstappen and one of the Toyotas. But Hulk seems to be making the hard tyres work because, of course, as this thing goes on, the hard tyres will start to have more grip than the mediums. We just about Can he make it work enough through the corners? And Hulkenberg on the hard tyres, he's making it work. Maybe it's just because the tyres look aesthetically pleasing on the car, the white walls with the white car. It seems to be, if the car colour tyre, if the tyre walls suits the car, it tends to go well on that tyre. Now Hulkenberg, they're gaining now on the back of the Ferrari. So Hulkenberg with the number 27, I mean 27 is synonymous with Ferrari. It was Gilles Villeneuve's number for so long back in the 70s and the 80s. So there's a lot of nostalgia with that number. But Hulkenberg, though, he doesn't care a little bit about Ferrari's nostalgia. He's on a push for points, and he's going to need to try and make a move on the Ferrari to get a step closer to that. But now on to lap 23. Gasly still leading the race. We've still not been able yet to do anything about the Frenchman in the lead. We've still got Alonso down third. We've still got Max Verstappen. Kudos to him. He's dropping away from us, but on the hard tyres, he's still holding on to P4 ahead of the other Red Bull Junior Seti Kamara. But now we got the switch team on the back of Gasly. We're going to pull to the inside line. Can you go down there into parabolic? Can we take the lead? Do we just about? Gasly's going to try and stick it around the outside line. You're going to go all the way there around the outside line. He gets a little bit of a wall with their mid corner, and that's to back out of it. But now he makes the move stick. Now we've retained the lead of the race, and now Gasly there. Does he have the DRS or do we have the DRS? No, Gasly there with the DRS. They're wide open. The left box from the rear wing. On the run down back into turn one. Gasly going to try and move back on the inside line. He thinks about it. He has a little look there to the inside line. Gasly thought about making a move. He wasn't quite close enough there to make it stick. And now you retain the lead of the race. When this fight is going to go to the distance, we've only got, what's it, 4 last races to go. Gasly on the grass! Gasly goes onto the grass. He's trying to find ways left and right, trying to make a move around the outside line of us to the inside of us. But with our 2 more championships under the belt, we know all about defending. I mean, I started my career in Marussia, and I won the Singapore Grand Prix in that car, defending from the Mercedes, from the Red Bull. So I've learned nothing too about defensive manoeuvres. I think only Lance Stroll is a more defensively complete driver than what we are. But Gasly, sticking to the best line. AlphaTauri is absolutely on rails in this race. And Gasly is so hugged up, having the race of his career now. Once again, in the switching on the back of ourselves now. 2 Italian cars here going for the win. There may not be Ferraris, but there still could be some home pride here from the crowd for the AlphaTauri team, and of course our Alfa Romeo team, which is now since it came from Sauber, so it's Swiss at heart, but it's Italian in name and Italian in race entry now as well. Coming down into parabolic, and Gasly there, he drops a little bit back, so maybe like we did, he's going to have to drop back a little bit now. Save the tyres, just drop off a little bit now. Fernando Alonso, he's been sitting there in P3, just minding his own business. He's a wild old fox. He's been around the block once or twice in his 20-year career, and now in his turn now with the DRS, and I'm sure some engine mode as well from that Renault engine, and that car's also really quick and straight line. You can't doubt that this year the Renault engine has come on leaps and bounds in the past couple of years. Now Alonso gets back up now into P2, so once again, it's ourselves leading the way. Alonso P2, Pierre Gasly P3, Max Verstappen P4, just about from Seti Kamara. But now then, on to lap 26, we've got a lap and a half of the race left to go. And it's been a change now. We've got Seti Kamara up now into P4, Lando Norris up into Verstappen. The hard tyres really are working out for him. Now then, we've only got 1 lap of the race left to go. 1 lap or 1 straight left to hold on. We've got engine modes. We've not got much engine mode play. I mean, we haven't got much ERS either. We've been having to push like I did this Ferrari engine. I'm sure after this race it's never going to be used again. We've absolutely abused it to the max in this race, having to give it everything that we've got. This Ferrari engine in, we know it's so good. It's so good in straight line speed, maximum power. It's up there really with the Mercedes really for the best engine this year. But Alonso though, with the DRS, with the slipstream, this may be his final chance. He's all side by side now. We're on to the final lap of the race. So Alonso takes the lead. He's actually but now back. He's going to go for a dive bomb. Going to make it see there back of the inside line. Off Fernando Alonso. I can't lose this race now. This race could be critical for the championship. Me and Alonso, we've got a massive lead on Verstappen, so we're going to be pulling away from the Dutchman. And this race result, with how close me and Alonso have been, this race could be absolutely critical for who wins the championship. This could decide it. That's a rundown now into the section again, and now we keep ahead. Alonso there, he has to back off, but now then through the last one. This is where we can save battery, we can save fuel, we can put it into lean mix because you can't make a move through here. We're putting it into lean mix will save fuel for the back straight, but that's going to mean we're vulnerable now down this next straight. And then through Lesmo 2, we managed to hit the apex there perfectly. Now Alonso with DRS, with the slipstream, with the ERS, with maximum power now. Going down into Ascari, he's getting on the backwards once again. Is he going to throw a move there to the inside line? He is! Side by side now with Alonso through Ascari. We're going to the outside line, we're giving the respect, but Alonso there hasn't quite got the tyre wear. Hasn't quite got the tyre life to keep it through. But that doesn't matter though, because he gets a great one off Ascari. Now side by side, you've got Pierre Gasly there just behind, waiting in the wings. Now side by side, Alonso moving. He almost wheel banged there at 200 mile an hour. Going down into parabolic, Alonso gets it around the outside line. We must have forced somebody through their back. Up the inside line, we've got Pierre Gasly in P3. Then Gasly launched the soul, coming off the line. Alonso with the switching, he's got one last gap. One last guy's coming off the line, but he hasn't quite got it. And we just hold on. We just win the race. You can tell how much that win meant to Pierre Gasly. The question marks over whether his seat in Formula 1 is safe, but getting a podium here at the team's home event may have just secured his long-term future in Formula 1. But we get the win, we get the all-important W. I don't think we would have got fastest lap, but we got the win in front of the home crowd for our home team there as well. And now we come up there onto the best podium. This is the best podium. This is better than Monaco. Right on top there of the grandstand, in front of the crowd over the racetrack. We celebrate there triumphantly the win. And now for the best champagne of the season. We sprayed there over Fernando Alonso, Pierre Gasly on the podium as well. For the first time in Formula 1, this was a day for the sport. And this has to be one of, if not the best race of the season. Taking a look at the race results for one of the closest finishes in a very long time. And we take the win. 2 tenths clear of Alonso in second, and Pierre Gasly, half a second off the win, leads the race and gets his first podium in Formula 1. And his teammate TDK Knight comes home in P4 to take home a very good points, 22 points for AlphaTauri, which under any guise is their best for a very long time. Mick Schumacher comes out of nowhere to steal P5 and takes the fastest lap of the race in the end to finish 12 seconds behind the lead, with Max Verstappen finishing in P6. Lando Norris finishes the way started in 7th, with our teammate Kevin Magnussen 16.666 seconds off the win. Toyota could only manage a best of P9 with Lewis Hamilton, and Daniel Kvyat gets some much needed points on Mercedes in 10th. Matsushita finishes 11th in the other Toyota, and Sergio Perez takes a crucial point for Aston Martin in P12. So now with that win, we bring down Alonso's championship lead now to only 4 points. Alonso on 145 to 141. And Max Verstappen is still there or thereabouts in 3rd place, 34 points off. I mean, there's still a long way yet to go in this championship. And once we get the straight line speed race out of the way, so you got Austria, Britain, Belgium. So once they're out of the way, expect Verstappen to be right back in the title hunt. And then we have the team McLaren's 4th and 5th. Mick Schumacher 7 points clear of his teammate Lando Norris, with K-Mag in 6th place on 80 points. Matsushita remains lead Toyota in 7th on 70 points, 2 points clear of Esteban Ocon, who's in 8th. TDK Knight gets up now into P9 on 61 points, 8 points clear of Alex Albon in P10. And Pierre Gasly, despite his podium result here, remains in 11th place, but only 1 point behind the Red Bull driver. Lewis Hamilton gets himself back up now into the top 12 on 40 points. And now onto the constructor standings. Alfa Romeo at the home event retain the lead, and we're 8 points clear now of Renault, 220 points there to their 213, and McLaren with the persistent consistency of Norris and Schumi keep themselves in the title picture in P3, only 30 points off after just about half the season. Red Bull, they could be higher up, but Alex Albon needs to start pulling his weight, as Red Bull are in 4th at 164 points. And they're 51 points clear of their sister team AlphaTauri, who with a good point all today get themselves back ahead of defending Constructors champions Toyota by 3 points. Then there's a bit of a gap down to Mercedes in 7th place for 65 points. And they're 34 points clear of Aston Martin in P8. Williams remain in 9th place on 23, and Ferrari continue to bring up the standings in 10th place with only 17 points after 9 races. So that's been one of the most action-packed for out-and-out racing races I think I've ever done in this series. 8 seasons of this series that are now on to the 9th race of Season 8 of this series, and this was one, if not the most enjoyable race to commentate. Just action throughout the race, so many lead changes, so many different drivers and teams in contention, the Red Bulls, the AlphaTauris. It was so good to see them up there. They've been struggling as previously Toro Rosso ever since 2017, but they're definitely on the right path to recovery now at the end of last season and so far this year. So if you enjoyed this race, then please leave a like on the video, leave a comment down below about what you thought about the racing you saw here today. Also, if you could subscribe as well so you don't miss out on any future videos, I'd really appreciate that. And also hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos, so you're notified whenever new videos are released, which will be on a Monday and Friday definitely. Wednesdays if I can, because I do have a full-time job as well, so getting these videos out is not a guarantee for 3 a week, but Monday and Friday will be definite. And as you've seen here, select Saturdays for Formula 1 and Formula 2, and about every month or so, the WWE 2K series returns with the pay-per-view events, with the in-between Raw and SmackDown matches results happening, posted on my Twitter and Instagram, so if you give me a follow on there, I'd appreciate that as well, so you don't miss out on any results for that, so the pay-per-views make a bit more sense. And also, if you follow me on Instagram, especially there'll be updates to my Pokemon card collection, because I've been a collector now for about 10 years or so. I've been doing it since 2010, 2011. So yeah, I've got quite actually now start getting into sealed stuff now, so I've got my very first sealed booster box, which will be on there if you want to go and see that as well. So thanks for watching, and also vote for your driver of the day with the poll link in the video description, along with the link to the wiki for this championship, which is basically like fandom Wikipedia, and I've made that myself. I've done one for every season since 2014. That's about 80 pages or so. You've got every season, every team, every driver to have ever competed in this, and it's a lot of work, and collectively over the years, over the seasons, it's been a lot of work, so I'd appreciate it if you're going to give that a read. And maybe coming up in the near future, there might even be a little sneak peek of what's to come up in the next season, Season 9, the 2022 Championship. That's what I'm going to leave things for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.